Start by letting folks know who you be.
I'm Zion of Zion I The Grouch, aka Baba Zumbi, representing hip hop.
Representing hip hop. First taste of hip hop, your first experience?
Man, it had to be Sugar Hill Gang. Rappers Delight, something like, I don't know. I think my brother and his friends used to listen to it. I just remember going to the roller skating rink, and they played that, and everybody started. And that was my first, I think that was my first taste. I was just like, yeah,
so when would you say you officially started this path as far as an
MCing? I think that was much later though. I think I always had an infatuation with hip hop, but I never considered myself able to do it. I didn't think I was a little kid. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? But as I grew, I was memorizing all these rhymes from Curtis Blow and Fat Boys and Run DMC, all the old school stuff. And then when I got to high school, I just started writing my own raps. You know, so they sucked, they're whack. I was probably 1988. I don't want to date myself too much.
That's okay. I'm right there with you.
Street blocks, the treetops, sweet spots now. Addiction to detox, 3 pots now. He walks when he talks like me, I'm sound. Conviction to beat knocks from my head to my cheap socks. Underneath living legends, Reeboks, I'm down the free speak. Let's see what my rocks. Volcanic or crack, hard to hold back. Go with the flow, know what you know, the show's ends. Too relevant, but I go back like hangers on a hill of fire, while it don't set smoke stack. Think, act, shrink, rap with a shrink before you go and eat the tent. That's fucking it, life learning it, man. Never wanna see the world turn into a drag. I ain't running no games, small time, no names. Just be one and the same, you got it for change. Yeah, hit him with a one. It's I ain't hit him with a 1, 2. Go and count me in now. 1, 2, 3. Your version of me paying the style. Crouch, hit him with a 1. And then hit him with a 1, 2. Go on and count me in now. 2, 3. Come on. Hey, I got this blue train running on, deep in my brain. Straight shit, middle passage, crack cocaine. 10 slap in the lag, homeboys got packs. In the belly of the beast, their life don't fly. But the music is the remedy, and my rhythm settling. Pressure the curve, watch church convert. It's the meaning of the mind for times like it hurt. I be cultivated words like sacred herbs. Put it in your pipe, pop it, spirits can't touch it. Rock and rugged, how you love it with no budget. Independent gang, with my same thing. Do the same thing, utilize your damn brain. Metaphors of mountains, countless bouncing. Multitude of views, clouds and houses. Rain like mountains and wash it clean. I'm in the back with my boss. Come on, hey, I'm hit him with a 1. It's I ain't hit him with a 1, 2. Go on and count me in 1, 2, 3. Universal how we band the styles. Crouch, hit him with a 1. And amp, hit him with a
You leaving the crowd with what?
I'm trying to leave the crowd with, like, you know, some sort of thought spark in their head, so, you know, they can think about, you know, different things than they normally think about on a daily basis. You know, get their minds off of the fear that the news tries to pump into them and just the regular hustle and bustle of everyday life, and just try to, you know, remember who you are and remember where you started, and remember that you have the power to choose what you want your life to be, and that, you know, you can create your own destiny.
How have those choices turned out for you?
You know, I'm making music professionally, so I'm loving that. You know, I've been doing this for 10 years strong, and, you know, in this state of the world, I feel like that's something to be said. You know, something positive, and you know, independent music. I like to do music, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that for a living, and I don't know, I'm just grateful.
Your take as far as where the state of hip-hop is?
I don't know, I mean, things are changing. I mean, you got a lot of people just making music for a hobby now, you know what I mean? Like, MySpace is a perfect example. A lot of people calling themselves rappers because they took a picture next to a car that probably isn't theirs, and they, you know, made some music on a computer program that cost them $50 or whatever. And I spent 10 years like studying this music stuff really hard, and it took me a long time to know what I know now. And I don't know. The technology is changing things. I mean, now it's easy. It's a lot easier. You can spend $50, like I said, and come up with a program that enables you to make the same quality of music that it used to take thousands of dollars to make. You know, when I was coming up, it took, you know, I had to buy a $3,000 keyboard with a credit card that I shouldn't have had. You know what I'm saying? And I barely paid that off. You know, now. And,
now. Wow.
I don't know. There's just so many. There's so many different angles, and it's like the you know, I don't know. Just things are changing.
I want 2 free passes every time I fuck up, cause I do it so much. Is that an artist? Or just a man, though a boy I knew a boy who already knew. Even told the future couple times that's true. The hunger of a lion and the speed of a cheetah, brain of a lion, natural born leader. We used to tell the kids that good food for thought. These bullet people would shoot in his he's locked. Walk straight and narrow with his eye on the goal. And then he moves out, defying his soul. Trying to roll big wheel and feel big fame. Preaching to the kids till he built his game. Kill the innocence, the ignorance, war. He ain't the man he used to be back when he was the boy. See, 11th hour, our hero made nowadays. Sleeping on himself, but not quite devoured yet. A vivid flashback of who he was before. Woke his ass up, now he'll never fall on the floor. Throw your hands up, and throw your hands up. Throw your hands up, and throw your hands up. And say yeah, say yeah. I want to be as pure as I was. I want to remember why I started. I want to free passes every time I fucked up, cause I do it so much. Is that an artist? I was a young man evolving, always going through changes. Something started storming in my chest. Dangerous. It was 6 in the morning. The walls started falling. Angel descending. Came Presley with a calling. He said, life's a test. Use your breath. All you can do is your best. Get you too upset. Took the words that he spoke, I stayed on my toes. Kept it moving with my pain game, hard as my flow. Chasing out of success, I thought I was fresh. People getting out of pocket, cashing the checks. From the stacks, getting vexed. The lines on tour, overseas, fantasies, rap, living for law. So they questioning the reason I'm talking for. So my spit, get sloppy, Lord, open the door. But this ain't no fable, put my life on the table. I try to be stable, fight like planet able for a rebirth. Planet Earth resurrection, I can be sure, so secure, job protection. Put your hands up, put your hands up.
I was just talking about that with Grouch as far as the whole change in the industry. You mentioned as far as records aren't selling, I noticed they've got a million reasons as to why.
Right.
I mean, but the one reason I don't seem to hear is that maybe the quality of the product is just not good.
You know, that's not even a mention. But, you know, it's all relative, you know. Like there's some stuff out there that I could probably say back in the day I wouldn't like, that I do enjoy now for whatever reason. But maybe it's the quality. I think more so it's technology that everything is spread so thin. Like back in, I remember we started first making music. It's like you had to go to the studio.
Yeah.
And if you had a studio, you were a boss because it was so expensive to own one. Nowadays, you have a laptop and a $100 program, you're good, pretty much. You can record or make beats. It's not that hard, so everybody has access, so there's a lot more product out. There's CD burners, there's free downloading, there's paid downloading. And hip-hop is not as sacred as it once was, I don't think, to us.
So I've noticed that too.
It was like pop, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not as, like back in the day, it was like, cats who were into hip hop, we all crowded around in a circle. It was like tight knit. It's not really. It's still like that for some heads, some real hardcore heads. But like everybody was into it. Was like that back in the day. Now it's like everybody knows about it, so it's just not the secret that it was.
Speaking of making beats, is there a difference between a beat maker and a producer?
That's a good question. I would say yeah. I think a producer is somebody who can continually expand their sound and their palette, you know what I mean, and can continue to add different techniques. Like Amp Live, I think he's a producer. He doesn't just sit and make simple loop beats and then the chorus comes in and then it's just another. He orchestrates and composes it, you know what I mean. I think there's got to be a certain degree of musicality to be a producer, a solid producer, one who can stand the test of time.
Hey guys, hooked up with Head Nod for your latest album.
Yeah.
Is he a producer?
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah, for sure. He's a musician.
This
so
is true.
It comes a little easier probably with a cat like that. Like a lot of cats just get equipment and start making beats because they feel it. But I think, you know, to just stay in the game, I think you definitely, just like anything, man, even as an MC or whatever, you gotta learn and continue to be open to what the art form is becoming or is doing, so you can just grow with it. It's whack if everything sounds the same all the time, man.
But feel the beat. This one's dedicated to the Patriot Act, the Home Security Act, you know? Hey, posted up on the block, gonna iron the spot. Late night city life, got me twitching a lot. Kinda nervous, I'm sure, we under the watch. Cameras touching every surface, drama gon' drop. We hit the cops, just another government plot. Got a brother under surveillance, orderly rock, harder than clock. Camouflage, part of the flock. Feel annoyed, they never call it just too rock.
Yeah, your bitch beats breaking and bearing, so I'm taking it there. Strip it to the core, ooh, primal fear. You ain't keeping iron, no tears. Don't know why your son came out of one leg, that vinyl queer. See something's in the water. They wanna vaccinate my state, but ain't got enough dollars. It ain't a mystery, true crimes, white collar in 2 times. What you find, my altar. Current affairs and brilliant mental. They want you Pinoy, boy, it's simple. We wide-eyed and afraid to look. Hold your guard, don't get took. Listen to me. Say something. Can you hear me? Say something. Say it now. Say something. It's coming down. Say something. Listen to me. Say something. Can you hear me? Say something. Say it now. Say something. It's coming down. Say something.
I don't think you have to stop.
So why is it the industry that's trying to dictate what's relevant?
I was trying to explain this to my wife the other day, and she was like, well, what are you going to do when you're 35 or you're 40 or something like that, you know? And she's like, you can't be rapping forever. And I'm like, I can do whatever I want to do, you know? And if I do it creatively, then it's going to work, you know? And I don't know, I just listened to the new Jay-Z album. He's talking about 30's the new 20's.
We were just listening to that coming in tonight.
So I mean, it's like for the first time ever, you have, you know, an elder hip hop person creatively putting out a song about growing older.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think it takes some intelligence and some wit to come up with something like that so that you can stay relevant. You know what I mean? And instead of complaining about like I'm old and nobody's feeling my music anymore, or like, you know, I don't know, I don't want to point any fingers, but there's a lot of old school artists who are like bitter because they're not relevant in the music right now. But you gotta be creative. And if you're creative, then you can figure out a way to last in whatever it is. Living Legends crew, I don't know, you know, everybody's going through their own personal situations. I don't know, that's all I can really say. You know, I'm working on music with Eli. I brought Bacasa with me on the Zion I Grouch tour on the East Coast. He's just doing some other things right now, so he's not on the West Coast. I brought him on the West Coast. He's not on the East Coast because he's doing some other work. You know, Merce is doing this thing. I think he's signed to a major label now. And I don't know, Scarab is making music, and everybody's doing their stuff, you know. It's just that we don't have a Legends project for this year right now, as of yet. And I don't know, I'm not going to force anything, and I'm not going to be the main, you know, person who gets that together like I used to. I used to do that kind of stuff, but I don't know, like I said, I had a baby daughter. I'm enjoying being a father, and I don't know, I'm just trying to take things in stride and make positive music and, you know, stay relevant in this.
The street, see sleeping with anger. We so scared, all we want is to change up. Waiting for the coming baby, Mary in manger. I'm so sick, addicted, twisted with it. Natural mystic burn, bullshit is sitting still. Satellites, like a thief in the night. From the heavens for a sight, and some alien flight. Real.
Meanwhile, back on the block, it's hot. People in the cold, hold up in the box. Watch my back, young Cuddy, while I let off my thoughts. My 6 sense tells me they set off a lot. My 7 sense said they lied and said fraud. To keep us in line, but I've got more eyes. More crying, look more lying, more lies. The veteran sinners and college cash brides. Current affairs to throw your mantle. They want you clean, boy, it's simple. We wide-eyed, ain't afraid to look. Most are gonna get tough. Listen to me, say something. Can you hear me? Say something. Say it now. Say something. It's going down. Say something. Listen to me. Say something. Can you hear me? Say something. Say it now. Say something. It's going down. Say something.
So what's going on as far as the latest projects? Going to share that with everybody?
Well, we got Design I The Grouch, City Heroes in the City of Dope. We have a DVD coming out called Days in the Life, which is like a documentary and a short film we made called Huge. I'm still working on editing that. It's taking me forever, but wait, it's still coming. I got my own little solo thing I'm working on, Baba Zombie. That's like mostly mixtapes. I plan on doing an album or start seriously working on an album next year. We got the new Design I album coming next year. So trying to get our label back together. We got all our masters and everything, but the distribution situation is crazy nowadays because CDs aren't selling. Record stores are closing down.
Yep.
The business is imploding, but the online is exponentially growing. So it's an interesting time with the business. We're trying to remain flexible and get in. But we fit in right now. Get in there right
Any
now.
last words?
Man, just, keep this real hip-hop movement going, alive, strong. Be yourself, be creative. Check out ZionRCrew.com. Check out MySpace.com/BabaZombie is home. Check out MySpace.com Zion I. Check out MySpace.com Zion I The Grouch.